Hey Stampers, it's Judy Klock here coming to you today for a quick little lesson at lunch. And today we're going to be working with the Botanical Layers bundle. This is in the new annual catalog and it comes with this really pretty Botanical Layers stamp set and these lovely layers vellum. And you get some sheets of plain vellum, and these are 3 3/4 by 5. So they are all ready to layer on your card. Some of them are printed. We've got a little circle. We've got shades of gray, kind of like mountains. We've got the matching, designs that match the stamp set. Then we've got this little speckled one here. So this comes, I forget how many there are, but it's a pretty big pack of, these are all the ones you get. So you get quite a bit of these pretty little vellum layers. So we're gonna go ahead today and we're going to do a really simple card with just one punch, and we're going to keep it in the monochromatic green. I love my greens. So we're going to use a mixture of soft succulent, mint macron, and soft sea foam to create this very simple but elegant little thank you card. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got our card base, which is the soft succulent. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and we have scored it at 4 1/4. And to that, we're going to add a sheet of our basic white, and I am out of Stampin' Seal, so I'm going to use my liquid glue. I'm just going to put a couple of thin lines of glue on here. And liquid glue is great because it gives you a little bit of room. You have some time there. If you don't position it exactly right, it's a little bit more forgiving than our Stampin' Seal. Let me just get that out of the way. All right, so now we've got our inside for our thank you card. And even on the light colors, I like adding this piece of white. I just think it gives the card a finished look on the inside. So that is an optional step. You don't have to do it, but I sort of like the way that it looks. All right, so now we have another piece of our basic white, and just like the inside, this one is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to take and we're going to layer a couple of those different leaf dies on sort of like diagonal. So I'm going to start off with my soft sea foam, and this is the biggest image I'm using. Oh, it's like kind of looks like almost seaweed to me. I know it's not, but that's what it looks like. And I'm just going to kind of stamp these on a little diagonal path, and I'm just going to kind of stamp one a little bit off. So you want to make sure you have some scrap paper underneath because you don't want to get it on your desk. So now we're done with that one. Next, we're going to come in with our mint macron. And we've got, I don't know what kind of leaves they kind of look like. I don't know. I am definitely not a botanist. I couldn't tell you what these leaves are. And I'm really going to ink this one up because my stamp pad's a little dry. I'm going to kind of put that one there. Maybe put a little bit more up here. Okay, let me clean this off. I need to use this block again. I was working upstairs the other day and I left almost all of my blocks up on the first floor, and I'm down in the basement today, so I don't have a lot of my supplies with me. All right, and lastly, we're going to come in with the skinniest of our little leaves, and we're going to stamp that in our soft succulent. And we're just going to kind of fill in here on some of these areas where we had a little bit of extra room. Kind of maybe put one there, maybe put a little one there. And I think that is all we're going to do with our leaves. So we've sort of created this nice little diagonal pattern with the 3 different leaves. Now we're ready to go ahead and we're ready to put this on our card base. So I'm going to go ahead and again take my liquid glue and just go ahead and put this out. Do you know that we're only about 2-3 weeks away from the launch of our July to December mini catalog and the start of another celebration? So if you don't have a demonstrator that you're working with and you would like a copy of the new mini catalog, please leave me a comment and I'll be happy to send one to you. All right, so now we've got that. Now I'm going to take this little like polka dotted layer of vellum, and because the adhesive will show through on the vellum, I'm just going to take it and I'm going to add just some dots in the corners. So I'm going to take my vellum and I'm going to add a little glue dot, I'm trying to find them on here, to each of the corners. So that will adhere it to my card base, but it won't have a lot of the adhesive showing through. So you want to be careful when you're working with vellum that your adhesive doesn't kind of show through. All right, so now we've got that. Let's go ahead and layer that up there. Okay, that's a little crooked. And the good thing about glue dots is, again, these can be a little bit more forgiving. Straighten this out just a bit. Okay, let me see if I can straighten that out just a bit. There we go, that's definitely a little straighter. Okay, so now we've got that layer down, and I like how it kind of mutes the stamped images underneath. That beautiful green still shows through. You can still tell that they're all different shades, but they're more muted. Now I took a piece of our basic white and I punched with our lovely labels punch. And I'm going to stamp our sentiment. I'm going to go back to our soft succulent. We're going to keep everything, or at least on this label, we're going to keep it in the colors of our card base. So we're going to go back to our soft succulent ink and we're going to stamp that thank you sentiment, which I now don't know where that sentiment went to. Well, oh, there it is. I was trying to read it upside down and I couldn't figure it out. There it is. It was right where it was supposed to be. Let me put that out of the way. Okay. So now we've got our sentiment on there. Wash that off. Now I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to take one of our daubers and I'm going to add a little bit of shading to the edge of our label. And that's just going to make it kind of stand out when we put it against that white background. It's going to give it a little bit of definition. Okay. And that is all we're going to do with that. So how quick and easy was that to just add some color to the edge of that label. Now I've got here our frayed ribbon. This is in our January to June mini, which is still available till June 30th. So this ribbon is still available. It's not one of my favorite ribbons because I don't think it ties nicely, but I'm just going to have it sort of lay down on our card. So I think for what I wanted to do, it'll be fine. And I always get confused how I want to cut this. I want to cut it this way. Okay. So I'm just going to have that sort of just lay across the card like that. I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back of my label. I'm just going to lay down a little thin line right there. And we're going to just kind of place our ribbon behind our label. So now that's going to just peek out from the sides of our label. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some dimensionals. So I'm going to add one there, and I might even like kind of put one like kind of off to the side to help hold that ribbon in place too. And maybe I'm just going to put one more right in the middle of our ribbon because that's pretty thick. And I want to make sure that it will keep in place. That center won't sag because the ribbon is so heavy. All right, so now we're going to go ahead. We're going to add this to the center of our card. And there we have just a very simple monochromatic thank you card. So I hope you enjoyed this little edition of Lesson at Lunch. I'll see you all next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.